What's up everybody? Today is an exciting episode because I will be doing a review on my new favorite toy, the DJI Mavic Air. So here's the deal. I've had this drone for a couple of weeks now, about 3 or 4 weeks, and it's really given me time to figure out what I love and what I don't love so much about this beautiful little drone. And just a heads up, I'm not being paid by DJI or anybody else to do this review, so you will be getting a pure, unbiased opinion on what I really think about this thing. So the Mavic Air dropped in late January 2018, kind of taking the drone world by storm. And I mean, this thing is crazy. It's just a little bit bigger than the DJI Spark and a little bit smaller than the Mavic Pro, making this thing like the most portable, compact little drone that I've ever seen. And with a price point of only $799, it's hard to believe that this thing is being compared to drones like the DJI Inspire 2 and the Phantom Pro series. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna be doing the most technical review because you can easily go on Google and find out all the specs and resolutions and all. What I really wanna get to the bottom to is this thing viable as a tool for a freelance filmmaker? Can I go out traveling or on a professional shoot, use this drone and get something that I'm happy with at the end of the day? So with that being said, let's talk about my personal pros and cons about the DJI Mavic Air. Pro number 1, this thing is lightweight and portable. So the best selling point about this drone is the fact that it's so portable and easy to move around. I mean, look, if you just flip all these propellers down, bring the antennas up, oops, did that wrong. Gotta flip the antennas down first. Okay, all right, I got it, there we go. Okay, it's cool. Look at that thing. That's like almost the size of a phone, I don't know, like a little RC car. I mean, this thing is small. Now, another thing that I love about this drone is the bang for your buck. And I mean, this drone is pretty affordable. I honestly never really thought I was gonna get into getting a drone anytime soon, but when I saw the price point, which is, you know, $799 for this drone, it really made me think, maybe it's time for me to invest in this tool. Maybe this is something that would help me get my filmmaking to the next level. And like I said before, I've seen this drone compared to the Phantom series, the Inspire 2 series, which that drone goes for almost $6,000. That's about 7 times the price of the Mavic Air. And that's pretty incredible, seeing as when you put the footage side by side, it's a little difficult to tell which one is which. Not saying that you can compare this thing to the Inspire 2 at all. The Inspire 2 can shoot up to 5.6K RAW, it's got all these different features, you can change the aperture, and it's got way more going on for it. But that being said, I think what's important about flying a drone is not necessarily the tool that you have, but the content that you're capturing, if that makes sense. Third pro is the footage. And I gotta say, I'm absolutely stunned by the footage from this drone. Now, I'll be real, at $799, which is pretty cheap for a drone, I was a little bit worried that the footage was going to be subpar or not very good at all. But I've got to say that this thing is actually really cool. I mean, you can shoot 4K at 24, 25, and 30 frames a second. You can stop down to 2.6K where you have a couple more options, and you can also stop down to 1080p where you can shoot in 60 or 120 frames as well. Now, I don't tend to shoot that much with those higher frame rates because when I'm capturing drone footage, it's usually pretty straightforward. I don't need it to be slow-mo at all unless I'm capturing somebody doing a backflip off a rock into a river, which I will play for you right now. But having those options there is pretty incredible. I mean, if I ever wanted to do something like that, I know that I can, and that's really awesome. Now, another thing is that you can shoot in a D-CINELIKE color profile, and essentially what that means for somebody like me, who always shoots an S-Log2 on my Sony camera, is that you can shoot in a more desaturated, high dynamic range color profile. And I love color correcting. So for me, that's really important. I don't want all these colors baked into my image all the time. I want to kind of start with a neutral plate and kind of be able to tweak colors and contrast and have all that stuff to do when I go into post. Now, my fourth and final pro for the DJI Mavic Air is the QUICKSHOT modes. And this is something that I've just been having way too much fun with lately, and I think I have a problem. So for those of you who don't know, the DJI Mavic Air has a bunch of QUICKSHOT modes, and essentially what that means is that in the menu when you're operating your drone, you can click on the left on the little remote control icon, click on QUICKSHOT mode, and you can open up a selection of different automated shots that your DJI Mavic Air can do for you. You can highlight an object and you have a bunch of different modes that you can select, and I'm sure you guys have seen the asteroid mode, which is the most popular one so far. To be completely honest, I think it's going to be overplayed by probably a week ago, so I'm not gonna end up using this QUICKSHOT mode very much. But something that I do love is the boomerang mode. And the boomerang mode is a mode where it kind of goes up in the air, circles around you, and comes back down much like a boomerang would. There's droney, there's rocket, there's a bunch of other different modes, and to be completely honest, I will have to do a separate video for the QUICKSHOT modes because there's just too much to go over with that and I cannot fit them in this video. But what I will say is when you're in a pinch and you just need to get a shot really quick, it's really nice to just be able to highlight yourself, click a button, and let the drone do its thing. So with that being said, let's talk about the things that I maybe don't love so much about this drone. Con number one, this thing has really bad low light. And I don't just mean like I'm flying this thing in the darkness, pitch black, middle of the night darkness. I'm talking, you know, when you go past 200 ISO on this thing, you're gonna start to see a little bit of noise in your shadows. And to be completely honest, I was expecting a little bit more from the lighting, but if you look at the gimbal, I mean, let's take a look at this thing. It's not very big. I mean, that's not the hugest camera in the entire world, so I understand that it doesn't capture, you know, low light like maybe the Inspire series or the Phantom series, but I would expect that you could go past at least 400 ISO, maybe even get to 1600 ISO before you start butchering your image. I mean, at this point, Sony should just come out with their own drone where they have like a Sony a7S II mirrorless camera hanging from the bottom of a drone, like this giant scary thing that's flying through the air, and maybe they shouldn't do that, but you know what I mean. I think at this point, drones should be able to maybe capture a little bit better in low light, so fortunately I have to give a thumbs down for the low light on the DJI Mavic Air. Jumping into con number two, the fixed aperture. And this is actually something I didn't know was a thing until I got my drone. But once I opened it and popped open that menu and realized that I didn't have an aperture setting, I had to do a little bit of research, and like immediately I found out that you're not able to change the aperture on this drone. Not too hung up on this flaw because when I'm shooting drone footage, it's usually a landscape or a wide expansive shot where I kind of want everything to be in focus already. So having that fixed aperture, everything's gonna be in focus. Essentially, the problem with that is you don't have that much leeway with adjusting your exposure. That leaves you with two options. You can either adjust the ISO, which I mentioned before is not gonna be that great once you get past 400 ISO, and the other is adjusting your shutter speed. So I did a little bit of research and I noticed that a lot of vloggers were using ND filters and polarizers on their drone. And this was like, I was like, what? So I found this company, which I'm sure you know of, and also disclaimer, I am not being paid by them, but Polar Pro is a company that makes amazing polarizers and amazing ND filters for the Mavic Air, along with the other DJI models as well. And it seems like Polar Pro is at the top of the market for making ND filters and polarizers for the DJI series. I mean, almost every vlogger that I've looked online has that beautiful, I mean, I'll show you right here. It's got this beautiful little gold, I mean, just, wow, that thing is sexy. Look at that. Yeah, that's nice. Gold.
I love gold!
So I purchased a Cinema Series polarizer set from Polar Pro, and these things were a big game changer for me. Essentially what it does is it stops down the amount of light that is being captured in the camera, so that way you don't have to adjust your shutter speed to get that perfect exposure. And so the one that I got came with an ND4, an ND8, and an ND16. And what I found is I usually use the 8. If it's really bright, I'll put that ND16 on. And if I'm shooting around golden hour and it's not that bright outside, I'll pop on the 4. So like I said, I'm not sponsored by this company at all, but the more that I use these ND filters, the more that I fall in love with them. I mean, these things are great. So I'll drop a link down below. They have a bunch of different options for polarizers and ND filters and different packages. You can get the 3-pack, you can get the 6-pack, and they probably have like a 12-pack as well. So jumping into con number 2, short battery life. And I've got a couple of things to say about this because it's not the most upsetting thing in the entire world. Anytime you're flying a drone, you're gonna have this problem. These things don't last forever. I think after flying the Inspire 2 for about a year, I've noticed that the battery's about 35, 40 minutes if you're lucky, but I don't end up taking it out for more than 25, 30 minutes without getting freaked out and bringing it back home. So what does this mean? It just means you have to be a little bit more careful about planning your shots. I mean, look, you don't want to just take your drone, set it on the ground, fly it up in the air, fly around for about 10 minutes kind of trying to find out what you want to shoot, and then realizing that your battery's almost dead by the time you found that perfect shot. So I could almost say that the short battery life has made me become a better filmmaker in a way that when I fly my drone, I usually have to scope out my surroundings a little bit, say, look at that mountain or look at this angle and kind of figure out where I want to shoot before taking it up in the air. And when I say short, I don't mean terribly short. I mean, the battery will last you about 21 minutes maximum, I'd say. I usually go out and fly it for about 18 minutes before I get freaked out and bring it back home. So what I would highly suggest if you're buying the DJI Mavic Air is probably to purchase the Fly More combo. Now, the Fly More combo is a set that comes with 3 batteries total, a charging hub so you can charge all those batteries at the same time, a bunch of accessories, a cool bag to put the drone in, cool bag to put all the accessories in, and a bunch of stuff that just makes it easier to fly and gives you more time to fly. So I'd almost say if you're gonna buy the DJI Mavic Air, it's almost not worth it to just buy the drone and the normal package that it comes with. You're probably gonna want that Fly More combo. Overall, for my first drone purchase, I gotta say I'm extremely impressed with this thing. I mean, it's compact, it's affordable, it shoots great footage, 4K, 24, 30, you know, all those crazy different things. I mean, the footage that I get out of this thing is comparable to some of the drones that are in the $6,000 price point. And that, to me, is really amazing. I think DJI says it's got a 2.6 mile distance rating or something like that, but to be real, I would probably start worrying at about a mile away. I've crashed an Inspire 2 before, and let me tell you, it is not fun. Like seriously, it wasn't fun. We had to go hike and find it, and it was in a tree, and I almost got poison oak, and it was bad. Like nothing, Jim, that thing fell out of the sky. So enough of me talking. If you have flown the Mavic Air recently, or if you own one yourself, please write in the comments below your personal pros and cons. Let me know what features you like, what features you don't like. What do you think DJI could improve on the next version of this drone? And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow creatives, because if it's not for you or anybody that watches these videos, then I am just a guy in my living room talking to a camera. What am I doing with my life? Just kidding. All jokes aside, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And now it is time for me to figure out how to mount a Sony a7S II to this drone. I mean, look, this thing is pretty big. Like, it could fit. I could probably fit it. It might fit.